Hello everyone, my name is Dunja Fabjan and I will speak about activities that were developed and that link and use recent solar data. So the Office of Astronomy for Outreach labeled the year 2025 as the Year of the Sun and encouraging also activities that are based on solar astronomy. Now, what I wanted to show you is activities that were developed and actually were developed as to build connection basically with the real solar data. And they are a mix of classroom and outdoor activities. And here, one of the things, one of the basic ideas or motivation was to use concepts that are already introduced in mathematics and physics, also within these activities. And the final goal would be to give teachers relevant resources and information that they can then tailor these proposed activities in an autonomous way. So since the peak of the solar activity is happening basically now in these years, I wanted to show you and present those activities. These activities were developed and were already introduced to some schools, to middle schools, so to students that were about 12 years old, and were proposed to 4 classes that had about around 10 to 15 students each. I had the opportunity to collaborate with 3 teachers, Katia Kalz, Katia Migliore, and Mara Chemelli from the middle school in Italy. Is a Slovenian middle school in Italy. And they gave me the opportunity to teach 4 hours to each of the classes that I was introduced to. So the structure of these lectures were basically an introductive hour where we spoke about the sun and the connection between the earth and the sun. And then we made 2 different classroom activities, and we tried, as far as the weather was good, to do also some outdoor observations. And it happened everything between March and May last year. I will speak briefly about these classroom activities that I developed, but I should also mention some outdoor activities whenever it's possible to do. It would be advisable to have some daylight observations of the sun and of the sunspots maybe with a telescope or in a different way, so with a projection of the solar disk, or other activities, and I will link some resources at the end of this talk. So the first activity was about the sunspot number. So basically the aim was to estimate the Wolf number, so the mean sunspot number on a specific date. And actually there were printed images that were given to each student for 2 different days actually. Their task was basically to count the sunspots, to recognize also which are and how many sunspot groups are on the image, and to compute then the Wolf number. After that, there was some discussion in the classroom about why the results from single students are different. What are the possible sources of uncertainty if we redo this kind of exercise with, for example, with different images of the sun, and to compute then the mean solar sunspot for each day and to compare with proper data for that days. So they had to read the data from this graph on the right side. The second activity was about the size of a sunspot. So they had to estimate basically the area of a chosen sunspot and to compare that area with the area of the disk of planets or the Earth. So they had to choose a sunspot. We had a guided part where we had to obtain, for example, the scale from the image that they had, that they were provided, and to compute then the real area of those sunspots. Additionally, one can think of taking pictures of the sun during the lectures, outside, for example, in an outdoor activity, and then to work on that pictures and to compare and to use that picture to obtain the area of the sunspot. The third activity was about the sun and its rotation. And actually, they had to measure the change of sunspot coordinates. They were given some printed images, at least 3 for subsequent days, and all those images were provided with a coordinate system mesh that was obtained using JHelioviewer software that is used to visualize solar data. We were then discussing about which coordinate is changing for the chosen sunspot, what is causing the apparent sunspot motion, and then they had and they actually were guided to estimate the time for completing the rotation, and we were then comparing our results. The fourth activity was about CMAs, so the coronal mass ejections. So basically, they had to compute how much time occurs between CMA that is observed at the sun and then the actual observation of an aurora borealis. And what we did in the class was I had to explain what a coronagraph instrument is and how it takes images and what is on that images. In particular, they have the scale of the sun, the inner circle that is provided in on each image together with a timestamp. And then we had some discussion about how fast is the ejected solar mass moving, how can we measure that from the images, how much time it will take to travel the distance of one astronomical unit. And then we also, were asking ourselves if aurora will be seen on Earth. In that particular case, for example, the CMA is going toward the pole of the sun, so probably the aurora will not be seen on Earth. But however, they had to grasp how fast basically those CMAs are traveling in space. So, what are the advantages of having this kind of exercises or activities done in classroom, and what are the future plans? So the advantages are that they were able to make connection between different concepts. For example, distances, scales, dimensions, the area of a circle. They have basically to use what they already have heard about in mathematics and physics. The classroom activities do not require additional technology, and actually they do require just some printouts, or even, you can also use a computer, for example. And activities can be easily modified and improved in the sense that one can, for example, think of print the coordinate mesh on transparencies, for example. So you can use one coordinate mesh for every image, or other ways of improving these activities. There are, however, some challenges. The middle school students were saying that there were too many computational tasks. So maybe the activities would be more suitable to middle school and high school students. So that could be obviously that is something that I will try to do. And actually, one of the challenges is if you want to do so classroom activities and outdoor observations, the challenges are the same as we know, so the weather conditions, basically. And actually, also the teachers need additional time